Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from my favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now, let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. My name is KJ, and I am the host, and today's video is a spoiler review for the new FX series / Hulu, Alien Earth, Episode 7 spoiler review. So if you have not seen this yet, please pause this, go watch Episode 7, and let me know in the comments below what you think about Episode 7 of Alien Earth. And before y'all do that, could you please hit the thumbs up button on this particular video? That would help my channel grow, and I thank you guys in advance. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Now let's get into it. This episode starts off with slightly hiding the body of Arthur, and what happened is he's trying to figure out what to do next. He's trying to figure out how he's going to get there to the beach. And his buddy comes out, and which is Sim, and he's like freaking out because he sees it, and he's like, "What's he gonna do?" But slightly asks for help, and he agrees to help him. And you know what's crazy is they start helping each other and dragging the body out through the whole building. The next scene, Wendy discovers what happened in the lab, and Krish and Cavalier, before she showed up, they were just amazed of how it all happened. They realized it's the alien species eyeball that's taken over the body of the goat, or sheep, I should say, not a goat, but a sheep. And you know, they're like, he's just wow. So he wants to communicate. Cavalier wants to communicate with this particular creature and stuff because he listens and he's watching, eyeing everybody, right? So it's what I think too, and I'll say this and I'll get into more, but what it looks like to me is maybe the idea of, can he put that eyeball in a human body, and could he use a human's vocal cords to speak? You know, because we know that after they got all this alien species kind of in place where they need to be at, that was the thing, right? But I think that's what's gonna happen in my mind. And so again, Wendy walks in, she's shocked, and they're asking Wendy to keep hush hush, but she's like, "No, I'm telling everybody." And they try to stop her, but Wendy showed that the xenomorph that's locked up listens to her, and this makes her a threat. But she leaves anyway and walks out. Cavalier discovers the tracking device are deactivated thanks to Arthur before his demise. And so Joe is talking about what happened to Isaac and about what happened as well, and Wendy explains. And Joe wants Wendy to leave, but she's staying until she can get everyone with her. But some want to stay, some don't, but Nibs obviously wants to go. And she's definitely traumatized and confused, but Curly is staying because she's somebody who, she's very grateful what happened to her, and she doesn't want to lose all the good benefits. She thinks that we got something good going on, and that, you know, let's just keep it how it was, you know, because if you think about it, for a while everybody was just getting along, everything was just a normal day for them. But the fact that now that we see through this episode that everything's kind of crumbling apart inside, you know, this company, it's kind of like things are just cracking. People are disobeying. And there's a lot of blood. I mean, and it gets very horror-like, too. And now we're seeing a lot of action and violence. And this is the most, I know it's crazy to say this, but this has the most action and violent fight scenes I've seen so far out of 7 episodes. But you know, wait till we get to more, right? But I think what is going to happen is we're going to see a divine thing going on But this also proves that I think Wendy might become the queen of xenomorphs or the mother of xenomorphs if she can transfer her body or change her body into it. Because what's interesting, she, hacked in and released the xenomorph, and this thing follows it, listens to her. She even got to pet its head, and that was really crazy, right? And then also in this episode, slightly loses the creature, but thanks to Chris, he found it. It was a baby xenomorph after it came out of Arthur's stomach. And what's interesting is Arthur was really proud that these two were trying to lie. And he's like, if you're going to lie, you got to keep lying. You got to keep adding on to the lie. And that's a life lesson adults do. So he's trying to teach them. But it was really crazy. I think he knew this was it for him. And I don't know why he said he was somewhat proud of him, but he just is. Obviously, he helped raise him, and that's the beauty of this. A lot of these people within this company have grown very attached to them because here, and this is what made me realize that a lot of these people here are attached to these kids. Is Wendy and Joe and Nibs found the graveyard of their previous bodies and they're buried. I don't know if the bodies are actually there, but there's the tombstone. Boom, it's there, right? And of course, the question is next too is Krish helping Marrow or was he not? Because he told Slightly and Sim where to go the quickest way as well. So this is, to me, it's like things are getting divided and things need to get back into order. But with Wendy doing this, Krish doing that, he's playing a different type of game and he has a different type of plan. And I think, he's different. I don't think he aligns himself with somebody else. I thought it was with Marrow and Miss Yutani, but it doesn't seem like this based on this episode. And so that's a really interesting thing that's happening there. And at the end of this episode, we see this bloodbath, and what upsets Wendy the most is Joe shot Nibs. But we got to understand, Joe didn't want to see one of his comrades get destroyed because Nibs ripped one of the guys' jaw out, literally a jaw. And the CGI was a little bit clanky, a little clumpy, but not a big deal, don't care. But that's the one thing I noticed. It was a little too obvious it was CGI. I thought they could have done an improv, made up a fake jaw horde trick, but it was a little CGI to it. Again, not complaining about it, but that's my only dislike about that one scene. But other than that, this was so violent. We never seen these kids use their bodies besides Wendy, but we never seen Nibs do it. We know Nibs could do it, but Nibs really got it. Now I don't know if Nibs is dead. She could be alive, but I think she is alive. To me, I think she survives this. But do they leave the boat? Do they get on the boat and just go? I don't know. But Wendy's mad. She's like, "What did you do?" But that xenomorph is going to be lurking and attacking those things too, I think. So I don't know what's going on, but this really proves a point that I think Wendy is gonna be the mother or queen of these xenomorphs, because if she doesn't leave that island now in the next episode, then she's definitely getting that other xenomorph too that got captured by Krish and stuff, and Marrow got captured too. So it's gonna be very interesting. So let's get into some topics. Let's do it, Krish. Let's start with Krish. Because Krish got this like weird thing going on. So throughout this episode, he knew what Slightly was up to. He knew Meryl was up to. But he also told Calvier some white lies just to keep him distracted. Right? The boy genius. Right? Is literally has no clue what's going on because Krish is very smart and very careful what he says. He also left out some small details when he came to the report of the lab. And he made sure that it was just that sheep, that alien that's inside the body of the sheep. But there's a lot more to why the last kid got killed in the last episode by all those things. It was way more than that. One, there were some jams. The doors weren't working. So I think Krish honestly set him up. And I honestly think he wanted this to happen because I think he saw the whole thing on an airplane, So we know he's playing devil's advocate on both sides. But who's he working for and why is he doing that is the mystery question. One, I think that he wants to get rid of the human race. That's what I'm guessing. And then number two, I think that he would like to become king of the xenomorphs. Like, I think he wants to be the father of all these things. Like, I'm thinking like some of the previous Alien movies where, like that guy named David, I believe is his name. And he drank like this black goo that helped created xenomorphs too. I think he's gonna go on a similar path like that. I believe if he's the one who could create that, I think he started it in a way, but I think created the blueprint to do it. But I also believe that's where he wants to go. Maybe he wants to be king, ruler of this alien species and change planet Earth. That's what I'm thinking. But I also believe that Wendy, I don't think Wendy would be an evil queen to these things, but I think right now it seems like she's tired of humans. But even though she is a human, but she's in a new body that's not actually her body. And I think Joe sees that now because this is not what this is not his sister the way he remembers her. And I think like the idea of like she had no regret cracking skulls, breaking bones, and murdering people was her. He's shocked that this little girl was willing to do that, but she's an adult now, I think, or in an adult body. But the whole thing of Peter Pan's story is going down the waste now after this scene. Because I think too, another thing about Wendy is I think she's going to escape, but I think she's going to try to change the world in her own mind. Or even just leave planet Earth, like, and go where these xenomorphs come from, too. That's a possibility as well. So it's so much up in the air that we don't know where it can go. But after this, I think Wendy has decided to align herself with these creatures now after what happened to Nibs. I think Nibs was the tipping point to get her to do that, in my opinion. And it's sad that it had to be Joe. But I also believe Calvier knew that Joe would be the one to lose Wendy's trust at the same time. So that's what I'm thinking. But what I like about this episode too, like I said, there's three things I like about this episode. One, this one had the more horror, action, violent, gruesome fight scenes. Two, I like now we're seeing like within this island, within this company, we're seeing everybody kind of crack, and it's kind of the boy genius, his empire is kind of crumbling inside. And I'm really like where Chris is going. Like, I'm just so curious. What does he want to do, and what does he visualize? What is motivating him to do the things he's doing? So I'm curious. And two, that's three actually, but one more. I'm gonna add one more. It's that sheep. I would love to see that eyeball use a human being's body and then talk through it to see what is the thing that they want to do now. What is their desire? What's their purpose? I want to hear them say it. So I'm really curious if they get to that far. But those are the four things now, since I added one more. Those are the four things that I really liked about that episode and what got me really more intrigued and want to be more interested in this series so far. So, and the only thing I did not like was the fight scene between when Nibs pulled that person's jaw out. The CGI wasn't that great, but it's not a big deal. It's something I will forget about and just move on from it. But that's the only thing I didn't like about it. And you know what else too? It's like another positive thing. I'll add one more. Is that the dialogue wasn't so dry, and they really focused more on these creatures. So it seems like there's going to be a big war on Earth going on soon. So that's my opinion. That's my spoiler review, everybody. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official Channel. Subscribe. Hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.